XC Middleweight Championship against Scott Hands of Steel Smith. These two bangers have combined for 25 knockouts, so we should be in for an explosive match between these two middleweights.
I'm always fighting to win, and if I'm fighting for a belt, I don't try any harder. If I'm trying to defend my belt, I'm not trying any harder. I'm just going out there to win and fighting with the same intensity.
I've been gone the last 2 months training for this fight against Robbie Lawler. Missing my kids, haven't seen my kids very much. I'm not leaving with anything less than that belt around my waist.
The New York skyline, and we are ready for more action here at the Prudential Center. Mixed martial arts taking center stage. This time we have a title fight. It's the Elite XC Middleweight Championship. Ruthless Robbie Lawler against this man, Scott Hands of Steel Smith. And this former industrial steel worker and WEC light heavyweight champion is set to do battle with Robbie Lawler and take away his Elite XC middleweight crown.
I was a union iron worker for 8 years. My dad owns a steel shop. All day you're squeezing your hand, opening and closing your hand 1,000 times a day. So my forearms are big as my biceps are. So it made sense to call me Hands of Steel. You never want to go out there and permanently injure somebody, but we're two animals in a cage, and this guy's trying to hurt me just as bad as I'm trying to hurt him. Winning this belt is going to change my whole life. I've been gone the last 2 months training for this fight against Robbie Lawler. Missing my kids, haven't seen my kids very much. I'm not leaving with anything less than that belt around my waist. And Robbie Lawler's going to find out the hard way why they call me Hands of Steel.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Elite XC World Middleweight Challenger, the heavy-handed knockout artist, Scott Hands of Steel Smith.
So here comes Hands of Steel. Scott Smith, born in Reno, Nevada, resides and fights out of Elk Grove, California, and he is one of the biggest punchers in mixed martial arts.
You can say that again, my friend. 13 of his 15 victories have come by way of knockout, and some of them are of the Hall of Fame variety. If you don't believe me, check out his fight against Pete Zell at the UFC event in November 2006. One of the most dramatic KOs in the sport's history. He's a blue-collar bomber who has a chance to become MMA blue blood tonight.
He does, and he's got tremendous power in both punches. And he jokingly said to me, I got short arms, so I got to punch extra hard. He sits down in his punches. He's good from his back. He needs to force Lawler to wrestle with him and expend energy. That's where he's going to get action.
And you know what, Gus? What makes the sport of MMA so great is the fact that the guy he knocked out, Pete Zell, is now cornering him here tonight. That's the camaraderie about this sport, the respect.
So Scott Smith, I had a chance to shake his hand during our interviews, and he has one of the strongest handshakes that you'll ever encounter. Working in that steel mill, strengthening his forearms and hands. However, the man that he will be fighting is the champion. Soft-spoken in demeanor, yet ruthless in action. Robbie Lawler is ready to make the first defense of his Elite XC middleweight title.
The belt's nice, but winning means more than anything. I've been competing for a long time, and everyone who's doubted me in the past, everyone who doesn't want me to do well, that's what pushes me. When I first started fighting, I just thought I'd knock him out in the first round, go in there and beat him down and just get after it right away. When you fight that way, you leave yourself open to take big shots at the same time. Now, I've tried to break fighters down, wear them down so that they take all the big shots. And I see them start to get weaker, I start to pick up the pace and start to try to land harder and bigger shots. The reason I'm intense is because I want to win. It's going to be a good fight.
And now, here is the dangerous defending Elite XC World Middleweight Champion, Ruthless Robbie Lawler.
Ruthless Robbie Lawler, a former UFC fighter who was considered a future star after starting his career 3-0 in the UFC. But he then dropped 3 of his next 4 fights and was not re-signed. He's found a home here at Elite XC, and he's one of the top fighters in his weight class in the world.
Yeah, definitely. After injuries and losses derailed the runaway Lawler Express, he is definitely back on track, having gone 6-1 in his last 7 fights, including a TKO win over Murillo Ninja Hua last September in Hawaii to become Elite XC middleweight champion.
But he's maturing quickly as a fighter. He's finally learned to relax and calm down, pick the pace that he wants, and be patient with those power punches, and be patient with the knockout.
So Lawler, due to a torn bicep injury, hasn't fought since winning the title in September, and he was forced to pull out of 2 scheduled defenses of his icon middleweight title. However, the torn bicep keeping him out. He says it's 100% healed, but in real competition, in the cage, in the heat of battle, could that be a factor, that bicep?
It could not only be a factor, it could affect his strongest asset, and that's his punching. Anything from a hook flexes that tendon, it may cause him trouble.
We saw Joey Villasenor earlier tonight knock out Phil Baroni. Villasenor has already fought Robbie Lawler, who's in the Pride Fighting Championships North American debut in October 2006. A flying Lawler knee ended that fight at 22 seconds. Villasenor obviously getting 1 step closer at redemption.
Now, since this is a title fight, we will fight 5 5-minute rounds as opposed to 3 5-minute rounds. So a look at the tail of the tape. Scott Smith, the older fighter, also the taller fighter. They both weighed in at 184.5. Robbie Lawler, tremendous puncher. He's also a wrestler. Scott Smith, very talented Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, and a terrific boxer as well. Tail of the tape brought to you by StreetFighter.com. So it's the Elite XC Middleweight Championship. For the introductions, let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. inside the cage.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Prudential Center here in Newark, New Jersey, at this time, CBS and Elite XC present a middleweight world championship attraction. Introducing to you at this time, a referee in charge, our 3rd man in the cage of this bout, we have Dan Mergliotta. All right, fans, here we go. 5 5-minute rounds scheduled for the Elite XC Middleweight Championship of the World. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 6 feet even. He weighed in at 184.5 pounds. A mixed martial artist in the time-honored tradition of Muay Thai. His record includes 15 wins, 4 losses, with 13 wins coming by way of knockout and 2 by submission. Here is the former WEC and Gladiator Challenge champion from Elk Grove, California. Please welcome tonight's challenger, introducing Scott Hands of Steel Smith. And his opponent across the cage, the defending champion on my right, fighting out of the red corner, standing 5 feet 11 inches. He weighed in the same as his opponent, 184.5 pounds. He is a fearsome brawler, raised in the disciplines of boxing and wrestling, with an MMA record of 15 wins, 4 losses, with 12 knockouts and 1 submission to his credit. Tonight, he is making the first defense of his title from Granite City, Illinois, and representing the Hit Squad. Please welcome the Elite XC Middleweight Champion of the World, introducing the Ruthless Robbie Lawler. Once again, a referee in charge, Dan Mergliotta, now to give instructions. 5 championship rounds scheduled.
All right, guys, you've both been explaining all the rules in the locker room. If you have no questions, I want you guys to come out, protect yourself at all times, touch gloves, have a nice clean fight.
Ruthless Robbie Lawler, the champion, versus Scott Hands of Steel Smith. Frank, set it up for us. What's the matchup?
This is a battle of the punchers, and I think it's a gut check. I think it's a gut check for Hands of Steel. I think it's a gut check for Robbie Lawler. Somebody's going down, and they both know it.
Scott, you ready? Robbie, you ready? Let's go fight.
And it's about to get serious here in Newark.
This fight has the potential to do for Elite XC what Stephan Bonner, Forrest Griffin 1 did for the UFC. It has the potential to be the fight of the night, the bout that people are talking about around the water cooler on Monday morning.
Scott Smith told us that he plans to swing for the fences or kick for the fences every time he strikes. He wants to knock Robbie Lawler out and has no plans of going 5 rounds.
Robbie's got nice footwork, and you can see him lulling him in. He's changing levels. He's taking small steps back. He's trying to get Scott Smith to come in and sit down on one of those power punches.
You faced many a southpaw, Frank. What's the key to solving the southpaw mystery?
You got to step away from the power and throw your power first. That's the big riddle to it. The problem is everything's backwards, so you get hit with shots and you don't think you're going to get hit with, and it confuses you.
Huge roundhouse missing by Smith. He's very versatile. Great boxer, terrific Muay Thai man, as well as a very proficient man when he's on his back with jiu-jitsu. These two fighters measured to start, taking their time. Lawler feeling out Smith. He respects his power.
And they respect the Elite XC Middleweight Championship. They know what is at stake, especially here.
Oh, that right hand got Smith.
He hurt him.
Now Smith, wobbly legs.
He got him reaching. This is where Ruthless comes on.
Smith in trouble. Lawler trying to close the gap. Moving in. Right, double right hook. For the southpaw. Smith trying to gather himself. Inside cut kick. Robbie Lawler now backs up.
Able to land that straight left through Smith's guard as well.
Lawler so relaxed.
Relaxed and cagey with the striking. Sinking back, sinking forward, changing levels. He just needs to lift that jab up a little bit more and get Scott Smith moving his eyes.
And it's good to see, though, that Smith isn't exactly panicking either. We're still here in round number 1.
Now Smith backing up close to the cage. Fans booing, they want more action. This is mixed martial arts, not boxing. They're used to action from the very beginning and to the end. Here's a straight left hand getting through the guard.
I think they've been spoiled so far tonight with all those early knockouts.
They have. I think Robbie would do a lot better work if he'd lift that jab high and then lift that jab low and do some body work. Get Scott's hands down so he can get back on that chin.
.219 to go in the first round, scheduled for 5 in the Elite XC Middleweight Championship. Great exchange there. Smith closing in. Lawler trying to keep him up. Pivots.
This is a dangerous game.
3-punch combination, followed by a good old-fashioned 1-2.
And it all began with that high roundhouse kick delivered by Scott Smith. He needs to do more of that.
He needs to kick more, and he needs to control that distance with front kick, side kick, push kick. Get Lawler away. Get control of the distance again.
Elbow followed by a left hand. Smith backs up. Lawler taking his time. Lead, right hook.
Smith is called the Hands of Steel. He may have to change that to Chin of Steel. Wow.
He has taken some shots here in the first round. Lawler using his jab now.
Now he's getting busy on that jab, and the jab sets everything up. Lawler's trying to set him up for that uppercut left hook.
Lawler also with a great chin as Smith turned that right hand over.
And what we're seeing or here in round 1 so far, guys, is the ebb and flow of mixed martial arts.
109 to go, round 1, scheduled for 5. Robbie Lawler in black, Scott Smith in the baby blue. Lawler, the Elite XC middleweight champ. Nice body kick, block, but that'll hurt your arm.
That will hurt you hard. I broke my arm that way.
I was going to say.
Well, Kung Lee.
Nice combination there, guys. Kick followed by a punch.
Smith is ready to go now. Lawler knows it. 40 seconds to go in the first round. Can he get out of it? And that's a body kick by Lawler.
Those body shots are crumbling Smith's body.
Right hook, double right hook, triple right hook for Robbie Lawler. He says, get out of there. A can opener, missing by Smith. Lawler so patient. There's a nice body kick. Followed by a body kick by
comes back in at you. Dude, pepper him right. Don't go, yo, don't go. Yeah.
He had a couple of good real moments here. Good kicks. He was controlling position. He thought he did some damage here. All he did was knock Robbie out of his center. It was enough to get him fired up. But this swinging, brawling exchange was hugely damaging and hugely dangerous. And I got to think Robbie Lawler came out on top of the brawl.
And a series of liver shots by Robbie Lawler that were patented by the one and only El Guapo Boss Room. There's another one, and man, how much more can Smith take of those?
Ruthless.
Even ruthless Robbie Lawler saying, no, you're mine tonight, my friend.
2, scheduled for 5 for the Elite XC Middleweight World Championship. Ruthless Robbie Lawler, the champion in black, taking on the challenger, Scott Hands of Steel Smith.
Lawler is sniffing the knockout.
Smith already showing courage, though, coming out for round 2. Again, a lot of people tasting those liver shots have surrendered in the past.
Now,
Good jab. Robbie's good jab.
3-punch combination, and he backs off, delivers the cut kick.
Lawler's got the range now. Lawler's in control with power. Now he needs to start feinting.
And Lawler showing a lot of maturity in his fighting game. When he burst on the scene, Ruthless was exactly what he was.
Another crackling body kick by Lawler.
Very patient is the Elite XC middleweight champion.
Smith with a cut on the bridge of his nose and under his left eye. He has the heart of a lion. Inside cut kick. Followed by a roundhouse to the head, blocked by Lawler.
But I still think Smith needs to go that route. He needs to soften up Lawler, gain his attention with those high roundhouse kicks, and follow it up.
Remember, this is mixed martial arts, where the tide can turn quickly.
In a second. I like what Scott's doing with the leg work here. If you take the wheels out of Robbie Lawler, he's not going to be able to make those angle changes and level changes.
Smith doubling up on the roundhouse to the body.
And really, guys, I don't understand why the crowd is booing. This has been a tremendous title fight so far. Back and forth action.
Now, Smith trying to chop up Robbie Lawler with those kicks, those low kicks.
Nice hooking jab to an uppercut with that front hand. I would just love to see Robbie sit down on that jab, start popping the head up of Smith, get him in position to hit him hard.
Scott Smith looks like he's cleared his head after that tough first round.
Definitely known for his resiliency.
Now he goes to the body with the left hook and a knee.
Good punch fighting work there.
Great knee to the head. Double knee to the head. Followed by an uppercut that misses.
Robbie's got his Smith's head. He's got to punch his way out or shuck his way out or get back to wrestling.
And now it's Smith's turn to carry the momentum, Gus.
Hands of Steel. Pouring it on now. Lawler not answering. Robbie weaving. Slipping. There's an uppercut followed by a damaging triple, quadruple left hooks and uppercuts by Ruthless.
And holding on to his head like Vanderlyn Silva did against Keith Jardine just a week ago. What a fight here in New Jersey.
2:16 to go in the second round for the Elite XC Middleweight World Championship. Middleweights are 185 pounds in mixed martial arts. These fighters have not gone to the ground yet. It's been a stand-up war. Ruthless. This is dirty boxing. Elbows, knees.
Both of these guys could do more work with those knees. Knee in the thighs, knee in the hips, breaking down the lower part of the body.
Smith's body wide open.
And Lawler continues to beat Smith to the punch.
Left hook, right elbow. Great striking by Lawler.
Smith needs to circle away from the cage. He needs to create the separation and distance, or he's going to eat a lot more of those punches from Robbie Lawler.
One of those are going to get through. Smith has got to get his back out, away, get on his bicycle, get back to the game of kicking.
These two warriors leaving it all in the cage. There's a nice elbow strike by Smith. Tries to back him up, doubling up, tripling up on the jab.
Man, if he can establish that jab, that is going to lead to some success for Scott Smith.
A minute left in the second round, scheduled for 5. Lawler, uppercut. Now some blood on the forehead of Robbie Lawler, but that may be coming from Scott Smith. Look at these two. seconds to go in the second round. How can they take it?
The greatest athletes in the world, my friend.
Look at it. Elbow.
10 seconds.
10 seconds to go. Hands of steel. Moving in on Lawler. What a fight.
Welcome to mixed martial arts on primetime television.
What a fight. Robbie Lawler. Scott Smith.
Second again, round 3. You got the better athlete over here. You're just sitting on the inside being ugly with them, all right? You're the better athlete. You're the better fighter, okay? So we're going to go out there and use what we know how to do from the outside. Hey, we're doing good. We're sitting on the inside. That body's sitting nice and flat, okay? It's good to go. Look at me, man. Come on. Yo, look, just it's awesome you're throwing the kick. The inside kick to the leg is working awesome. And also, yo, set up the head kick. Set up, so don't just keep throwing the head kick. Set it up with your punches, bro. You're gonna knock him out with that one.
The blood coming from somewhere. It looks like they got inside, throwing crazy punches. The head's getting really, really close together. Was it an elbow? Was it a punch? It looks like a headbutt.
Could have been a clashing of heads.
Yeah,
right
clash
there.
of heads. Unintentional. But definitely damaging.
Now Lawler on the top of his head as the two warriors show sportsmanship as we begin the third round of the Elite XC World Middleweight Championship between Ruthless Robbie Lawler, the champion in black, and Scott Smith, the challenger, in the blue. And that cut kick really turned the tide in the second round.
It did. It took the wheels right out of Lawler, and you heard his corner. You heard Scott Smith's corner saying, set up the high kick. Throw some punches, set up the high kick.
The cut kick being
the leg kick. Chop that leg out. Take away his base.
You know, people watching MMA for the first time wondering maybe why are they touching gloves after the battles that they've already waged, but this is the spirit of competition. This is why these two are world-class athletes. It's not about beating each other silly, it's about proving who is the better man. And what a fight, what a drop-down slugfest we're seeing here tonight.
now Lawler misses with the uppercut. Smith fighting the southpaw, well schooled. He continues to step to his left, and that's where you want to go when you're fighting a southpaw.
That's where you want to go. Take all the power out. Now, as he steps to left, you should throw that cut kick and chop that leg out.
Robbie Lawler beginning to establish the jab, and you know that once he finds that rhythm and that timing, that lethal left hand is coming right after it.
And you said it, Frank Shamrock, this is a gut check.
It's a gut check, man. This is who is going to demand the respect and the victory tonight.
Who has the heart to withstand this kind of pressure? Smith is cut on the bridge of his nose and also underneath his eye. Lawler is cut on the top of his head. And right now they're trying to gather themselves.
I have it 1 round apiece after 2, Frank. How about you?
I got the same, exactly the same.
Right hand by Smith, and he misses with the roundhouse.
Lawler was taking more damage than I thought he would have in this fight.
Nice level trajectory elbow there by Lawler.
Lawler bleeding. 2:55 to go. Third round, scheduled for 5. The Elite XC Middleweight World Championship. Robbie Lawler, considered one of the best middleweights in the world, with the type of fighters such as an Anderson Silva or a Kung Lee or an even Frank Shamrock.
Definitely. Those are definitely 3 of the top middleweights, but you got to put Robbie Lawler right up there. And let's face it, Scott Smith on his way to establishing himself as a top middleweight.
He got hit with a sharp left hand, excuse me. Scott Smith did from Robbie Lawler.
They're taking turns teeing off on each other now.
They are. Lawler needs to double and triple up that jab. Now that one jab works, it gets through, it's working. Now he needs to double and triple it.
No head movement now by Scott Smith. And he is a sitting target with that right jab by Lawler. Lawler with that Floyd Mayweather style with his right hand down near his hip. He can hook off that.
Wow, the double leg. The underrated wrestler, Lawler, but he gets stuck, and this could be trouble.
This could be trouble.
Trying to get his back, but Smith gives up his back. And now
fighters. Robbie Lawler stuck in this back and forth shootout. Oh, Smith may have taken a finger in the eye.
I think he fingered on accident.
Accidental.
But I was going to say, did you see Robbie Lawler? Instinctively, boom, goes for the shoot. And it was stopped by Smith.
Remember, those gloves are not only 4 ounces, but unlike boxing gloves, they're open.
Yes, they are. That's
totally
correct.
open.
How often does that happen, Frank?
It happens quite a bit, actually, especially with good fighters or good boxers, because they're opening their hands up.
Put the thumb in the eye. Yeah. Let me take a look at this so we get some time. That was all accidental, bro. I know that. I even saw you say you're sorry, though. No problem.
Here's a look at it. Oh, and it right there. You can totally see it. Finger in the eye. Lawler was opening his hand to catch punches, trying to block him and counter him. Finger right in the eye.
So at this stage of the game here at the 3rd round, Frank, he's going to get 5 minutes to recover. What would happen if he is unable to continue at this stage?
I think if they've gone past 3, it goes to be a no contest. If they're past 3, they go to the scorecard. If it's before 3, it's a no contest. Nobody wins the match.
Because it's scheduled for 5, the championship fight.
Sherry Wolkan, Dr. Sherry Wolkan is in the cage now looking at Scott Smith.
Normally you would think that this would benefit one of the fighters left with this respite, but I think both of these guys deserve a break.
And they're going to stop it.
Oh, no.
They're going to stop it.
Oh, no. No, no, no.
That's a tough call.
No. That's unbelievable.
He has
He said he can't see out of his eyes. So the doctor
they stopped the fight.
They
called it. And they have
Robbie Lawler. I don't understand this.
Wow. The doctor must have been concerned about his eye. They would not have stopped it unless there was a problem or a concern with the eye.
And you could tell Robbie Lawler, the look on his face, he didn't want to win it like this.
And there are a number of very high-powered officials in the cage that are disappointed that this middleweight title fight has been stopped. Gary Shaw with the Elite XC.
New Jersey State Athletic Commission officials. Wow.
What's very frustrating for me in this fight, it really was a gut check. Somebody was going to be pushed to the very, very brink, and it got stopped just before that happened.
And the thousands of fans in attendance letting their opinion be known. Frank, really, again, you always want to err on the side of caution. Safety is paramount in mixed martial arts.
It is the most important thing. We're in a full contact violent sport. We've got to protect the athletes. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say if that was a good call or not. But man, he looked like he had plenty of fight left in him.
And the way he reacted shows you how much he wanted to continue.
And I could hear him talking. He said, "No, I'm fine. I'm ready to go." Let's look at that finger in the eye again. Like we said, it was just a basic block, and it didn't go that deep. Kind of grazed the eye and then came down the cheek. But it was obvious Scott Smith was hurt right away. Robbie knew what happened. He felt it. They stopped it right away. I don't know. I mean, he's obviously in pain.
Events here in what was on its way to becoming an instant classic, and we talked about this fight being the one that you'd be talking about around the water cooler. Unfortunately, it may still be the fight, but because of the way it ended.
Well, controversy and storylines build fight, but this is the storyline
You don't say, Mr. Shamrock.
I never saw it coming. You know, I really wanted to see a victor come out of here. I was scouting these boys for my own, boneyard of bricks and mortar and championship belts, but this is mixed martial arts. Anything and everything can happen.
This is the tremendous respect that these two athletes have for each other, and no doubt in my mind we're going to see a rematch between these two.
I think it's got to be done. I think it's mandatory.
Heartbreak for Scott Smith. Not exactly a celebration for Robbie Lawler.
To me, it's art. And when you stop the play in the middle of the show or scene, there's no end. There's just it makes no sense.
And the judges agreed with us, Frank, after 2 rounds. Lawler won round 1, Smith won round 2. It comes to a truncated end here in round 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has been stopped at the time of 3 minutes, 26 seconds in round number 3. Scott Smith, the recipient of an unintentional foul, a thumb to the eye, deemed by the physicians unable to continue. The rules state that a championship bout must go 3 complete rounds before we can go to the scorecards. Therefore, this bout has been ended and declared a no contest. The champion retains his belt.
All right. We're with Nick Limbo, the New Jersey Athletic Commissioner. Can you give us an idea after the thumb in the eye why the fight was stopped?
It was ruled an accidental foul by referee Dan Marigliotta. The doctor was called in, Dr. Sherry Woken, to examine his eye, and Scott Smith told the doctor twice that he could not see. You can't tell a doctor twice that you can't see right now, that you need time to clear your eyes, so the fight was stopped. It's a no contest because it was a title fight and you need to have at least 3 rounds completed.
Commissioner, thank you. Gary Shaw, President, Elite XC. What happens next?
We're going to redo the championship fight, but I'd like to announce both fighters fought so valiantly, I'm going to pay them both their win bonuses.
Thank you very much. Now we talk to the fighters. Ruthless Robbie Lawler, the Elite XC middleweight champion of the world. You retain your title in a hard-fought fight against Hands of Steel Scott Smith in what could have been or was turning out to be an instant classic. Your reaction to this outcome?
I'm just disappointed. I'm sorry that we couldn't finish this for these fans. Let's run it back. We'll just run it back and do it again.
And Scott, as for you, the eye, it looked like you were hurt. According to the commissioner, you said that you couldn't see twice. Could you have continued?
I could have continued. They said I have 5 minutes. I said, I can't see now. Give me my 5 minutes. I'll be good. I don't like to fight anything like that. I would have came back out. I wanted to come back out. I probably would have got knocked out, but I'd have rather got knocked out than to fight in like this. That fight was fun. That's everything I wanted. I wanted one of us to go down, though. That's not how I wanted it. I can't wait to do it again. Thank you, Robbie, for the chance.